Welcome everybody to a new episode of the podcast. Today's episode, Mega Ultra Beasts. Welcome to the Deep End, our captivating discussion series where we dive into the depths of the current Pokemon news and theories. And today's episode, we're going to be bringing to you a concept idea that friend of the channel X, Last Champion Spirit, threw on the table. He would be here today. Unfortunately, he couldn't make the recording session, but we took his idea and presented it to our amazing friend and artist, Subarashii. He came up with some amazing concept ideas from just this random thought of what would Mega Ultra Beasts look like.
These are just ideas that I come up with. And from yours truly as well, Draco. Thank you.
Well, that wasn't my idea, I gotta tell you.
So the idea of Ultra Beasts getting Mega Evolutions is absolutely insane, but it would be an interesting connection because we did see Zygarde kind of shoehorned into the Alola generations. So this whole Z to A thing, Zygarde to Alola, there's not a lot of connective tissue with this. Might actually be hinting at something. And I'm really excited to see what Subarashii has come up with in some of these concepts.
But X had brought about the fact that, potentially we might be seeing Z to A, Zygarde to, and Alola, possibly in one of our previous videos. And so riding that particular thought wave came out this idea. So we're just going to go ahead and roll with it.
I didn't even think about the A part. Like, what if A stood for Alola? Oh my, I did not even think about that.
I don't think they'll ever do that, though. I don't know. It'd be a cool, interesting idea if they did do that, though.
And the first image I'm going to share is Mega, I don't even know how to pronounce this one, Nahandel?
Nigihiglo, I call them.
Nigihiglo.
I can't really say it. Bruh. His name is very awkward. Nahanago? Yeah, it is a weird name. I don't know why Game Freak came up with such a name for this Ultra Beast. It's like so hard to pronounce. It's
right?
Nagahandel, that's its name. Yes, Nagahandel. That's his name.
And just so you know, we did get X's first takes on recording. And so we're going to splice this into the video so that this way at least you guys can hear what his take was when he first saw these videos. And then we'll be giving our takes on the drawings as well.
Wait.
And Suba can fill in some of the gaps.
Whoa, not gonna know. Okay, this thing's always been a big favorite of mine. I've always loved the spiky dragon. Early on, I always liked the Nidoran family. I love bunnies, rabbits. I had a few of them when I was younger. And getting a nice purple spiky dragon of doom is amazing. This gives me like jousting sort of vibes with its big syringe hands, but at the same time that spiral spike thing on its chest and the design of its wings make me look like it's a giant flying Iron Maiden that it's just going to scoop something up, close its wings, and just grade away at whatever it snags up. This thing is incredibly fierce. Good job, Suba.
I've always loved Dragon-type Pokemon. Seeing when it was released, Poipole, that whole entire Ultra Beast line, so to speak, like when that thing was introduced, I was like, okay, I gotta get mines. I was more surprised at the fact that it evolved. But, yeah, getting a Poison Dragon type was really nice. And then this picture happened. Man, first time I saw it, I was really astounded. I was like, dude, this thing looks cool. It's not just the giant needle anymore. It's got like two of them on its arms. I think it really emphasizes like what a Mega Evolution is. It's like this outburst of like the Pokemon energy, like just boom,
yeah,
bam, and then there it is. It's like this really cool looking like Pokemon popping out your screen. If this thing was real, Pokemon Company, maybe you should, pick up this idea, just saying, or at least like thought of it, because this is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, but I love it. I love it. It still gives you more of like that alien-ish kind of feeling, like the Ultra Beasts were supposed to be. I would totally have one on my team.
I've got to admit, because Suba and I actually talked about this one, it's what kicked off the idea chain for him. But I can see where he's pulled some of the elements from the things that we discussed. And I'll let him get into that. But when I saw the execution, I can see where you've pulled elements from Pokemon and from your other base idea, and you've done such an amazing job marrying them together. the thing that gets me is just how menacing this thing looks with all of the points and the jagged edges. The only part that's throwing me off is the hands, because it looks like the claws won't come down all the way. But of course, you've shown that the long proboscis on the hands and the head on the back of the head are hollow. So it just kind of makes me wonder, are those things more like cannons? Do they shoot some kind of a toxic liquid, or worse yet, some kind of an energy beam that may cause some form of poison type damage out of hands? So, I think this really does well. And then it wasn't until Guren, you said something about it looking very alien-like, which is what the Ultra Beast really should have. This, I think, really does encapsulate that whole otherworldly, other dimensional style of creature that would have served the Ultra Beast so much better. What was your concept behind this? What ideas were you pulling together when you first came up with this idea? Because honestly, I'm interested. I think our audience would be interested.
All right, so basically with the idea, I actually when you look at Naganandel, what throws me off with the original design is its big proboscis at the end. It's like a dragon wasp thing, And so for its mega, I didn't really want to have that. So I wanted to shrink it off to give it some speed. It is fast as it's the normal form, but I wanted to give it a dragon tail, more dragon-like design. And obviously you can tell, and also with the normal design, it kind of reminded me of something, especially with a franchise I absolutely love and adore, which is Godzilla. This Mega is actually designed after my favorite kaiju known as Gigan, and it really kicks it off with the design. And also as well, I actually have a bio about this Pokemon that I've designed. So I actually added a bio to it. It is known to jab its opponents by charging like a knight with lances. It also has a buzzsaw on its chest, just like Gigan when it fights, to maximize its damage. So yeah, it's a dragon poison type as its original form is, and basically, I wanted to give it more of a dragon look, and it doesn't, as you can tell, it doesn't have any feet, so it has these needles as legs to point. It basically stands upright and it can balance itself. Its wings it doesn't really use a lot, so it's just basically really fast, and it just charges with the lances that actually, you could say, does spray and basically shoot out poison. And basically it can also charge with its head. It's got a horn on its head. It can just basically charge its opponent.
Yeah, I like the fact that X actually called part of the idea, part of the concept, without ever knowing the bio.
Yeah.
He's pretty intuitive when it comes to certain things, and I like that.
Ooh, can I just add something real quick? So, this wouldn't be a podcast episode if we did not go off tangent for a little bit, but for some odd reason, after looking at this thing some more, another thing popped into my mind. It is Super Mario Sunshine. I can't help but think this is probably the guy that is causing all that filth to appear in that game.
Moving forward, using all our breath.
Oh no.
Blacephalon.
Next up, a Blacephalon. Okay, this creepy Pennywise clown was already incredible. The big billowing Harley Quinn sort of tassels and the star theme, it's just taking the original design concept to an absolute max. It's so chaotic, but yet so whimsy and fun. Is that a jawbreaker it's holding? I don't know if I should put that in my mouth. It might explode.
Honestly, it's kind of funny. We were talking about some other things about, but what was it, like another Pokemon theme or episode or something, and Blacephalon was on that. Was one of the things I chose about that. Seeing this now though, jeez. I already thought it seemed pretty tame in terms of how it originally looks. Until it starts throwing its head bomb around. But then you look at this one, it's I agree with X here. It kind of has this chaotic feeling, but still retaining its clown and I guess in a sense now it has more jester kind of aspects, and I don't know. like it's good. It's good. I love it. It's I definitely don't want to run into this thing. Like I like how the head portion looks like it has eyes now. For some reason, I'm thinking of like some kind of octopus squid thing when I look at it, or like it's using an octopus or squid for its head. Probably because of the eyes, because I think like octopus eyes are kind of like in that area of their head too, a little bit. But like I do like it. I do find it definitely a lot better to look at compared to the original form of it. And like, yeah, just like what X says, I do not want to run into this thing, and I really hope it's not a jawbreaker.
Hope Pennywise doesn't get you.
I've got to admit, I do really like this design. Like, I know Bucephalon, and I kind of forget that it exists. It is so, because of its standard design, it looks very meh. But you've given it some personality in just the design alone. Like the way it's holding the ball, it's floating. The way you've got the eyes set up, even the little tassels. And I have to admit, the Harley Quinn colors kind of work with this a lot, especially since it's already pink and blue. The design definitely does show that menacing whimsy, I guess is the best way to describe it, because between the colors, the posture, and then you've got those eyes, and I think the overall design of your Mega Bucephalon is just absolutely on point, and like as Chase would say, chef's kiss. Mwah.
Mwah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, obviously you can tell it's a jester clown design. I just went, let's just add more balls to it. More balls, basically, more balls. It needed more patterns, I'd say. It needed like a right above its legs, it has circles instead of stripes. And obviously its shoes, its feet are more longer now, elongated. It can hold like firework balls, and it has, basically it can juggle, just like a clown can. Unfortunately, I don't have a bio for this one. And if you can tell, it actually has stars on the design. So basically stars, and basically because it's a firework Pokemon, you know, it can make quick fireworks with its head. It doesn't use its head to throw around. As I said, it uses colorful balls to throw, and then they explode. Its tail ball is green, so I wanted to give that a different color to make it stand out. So obviously its body is turned a bit, but its head, it's like facing forward. Its eyes are actually more triangular than its normal form. And that's basically really it. It's just a better version, I'd say, of a Blacephalon. I call it Blacephalon, which is...
I have to admit, the entire time I'm looking at this, I've got one song playing in the back of my head. And anybody who's a fan of cult movies, Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Yeah, I've
heard of the movie. Yeah.
I've got the song by the Dickies playing in the back of my head.
So yeah, the color's really good. I like the colors on Blacephalon. I wanted to implement that even more in this design.
So now we're going to move into the last one, and honestly, one of my favorite Ultra Beasts. I don't really care for most of them, but I do like this particular one. We all know it. We all love it. It's Taka Taka.
Taka Taka Raka Kaka.
So here is what X has to say about the Stakataka.
Stakakata. I don't know what to make with the crystals. They look really cool there, and I'm getting some definite like Twilight Princess sort of Legend of Zelda castle vibes. I imagine instead of just trapping you in a solid stone prison, this does some Itachi Naruto's illusion stuff once you're trapped inside, and you're just forever running around this imaginary illusionary maze, dungeon crawling for all eternity. It also makes me think of like the Beamos from Legend of Zelda, that's solid pillar where it'll rotate, and I know this has independence, so I could see that each layer or floor of this where the eyes are kind of rotating, acting like an ability to just blast an eye beam at something that gets close to it. Very, very incredible. I wonder if it like can keep just building up and up in like the anime sort of lore aspects instead of game mechanics. That's very impressive.
None of us can pronounce the names correctly.
Yeah, did they ever like have like a actual pronunciation for this mon in general? Like I don't think I've ever heard it. Like
I don't know. Like pronunciation to these Ultra Beasts are absolutely ridiculous, I'd say. How are you supposed to even say that though?
I know, right?
I don't blame people for like mispronouncing these words.
I love it. Okay, the first thing that popped in my mind, especially since X I kind of mentioned it too, was like those walking like fortresses or castle things in Zelda. I don't know what they're called because I haven't really played much Zelda games or any of the recent ones. It also reminds me, for you Magic the Gathering fans, it reminds me of the Roaming Throne, which is a pretty good card. And like I love it. Like X pointed out, like the little crystals that are like jutting out of it. Like I really like that. Like first to me, like it kind of defines like what it's supposed to be in a sense. Like, you know, like this walking tower, the red and the blue in game or competitively, it's like this really tanky Pokemon. And then like this thing here, I just see it being a little bit more on the offensive side, like just shooting like eye laser beams.
Ooh, but
I imagine we're looking at it right now, right? Like you see like where the eyes are located because of like it being like walking tower laser Pokemon. I see those eyes like just rotating around and then rotates on another different side of it. So it's like, oh yeah, no, let's get behind this thing, you know, it's not gonna see us. And then all of a sudden, like, you know, that eye on the opposite side just flips over and it's like, oh, found you. And then bam, laser beam.
So for me, I could so picture this thing being very defendy, like it actual natural defense because of the fact of the stones, right? But I like the idea of the eyes rotating in and out and just zapping lasers at you, kind of like those the walkers from Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. You know how they just kind of start tracking down and then when it's gonna hit you and explode. But the crystals are the thing that get me because they kind of look positioned perfectly. It's like if it was gonna throw a shield out. So if you think about it, this thing's a walking castle. It's gonna have protection, so it's gonna have high defense, but those crystals give it the high special defense to protect against special attacks. And it itself, since you know we're talking it shooting lasers, you know, it's a high special attack Pokemon. At least that's in my mind's eye seeing it. And the fact that when you realize that each of those bricks hides an eye really sells the fact that this thing has 360-degree view. Like, you cannot hide from this thing. It will see you. It will always see you. It always reminded me if Unknown evolved completely differently. So instead of being alphabets, they were now bricks, but instead of spelling letters, they build structures like this.
I like that. I liked it.
Yeah, I'm digging this one. This is a really amazing design. I do love this one. But yeah, like this was just an amazing design, Suba. You really knocked this one out. So
thank you.
So tell us about this one.
Mega Stack Attacker is have reference to a lot of Legend of Zelda. You're all correct on that, by the way, guys. I wanted to go for like a fortress tower, like a castle tower in some way. I just wanted to make it taller. Basically, if you think of Mega Stack Attacker, what would it be? Would it be wider? No, taller. Cool. And given it the red eye at the top, basically its energy, as you can see, the light trickles down. Normally it'd be on the sides like its regular form. Energy comes down, trickle, a bit like a wire in some way. And basically that's where it gets its energy from. The crystals are like, as you were saying, you're actually absolutely correct, Draco. They are a defensive mechanism. Basically, they do like create a shield around it. And also they do attack by shining light to it. This is a rock steel type, so it's keeping the typing. Same with the Blaze Balloon. I actually forgot about saying the typing as a ghost fire type, if I'm correct, yeah. So Mega Stack Attacker is just basically a taller tower with and also you can tell some of the bricks are different color, so I wanted to change that in some way as well. So just don't want it having like one color, so it's just a bit boring, you know. Just change up some of the bricks because they're not going to all be made from the same material. Some has some sandstone, some of it has like graphite in it, and all these other type of materials. So yeah, that's really basically it. I don't have a bio on this though, unfortunately. I have to keep making bios for these Pokemon, but they take a long time.
Didn't you say you had an ability for this one?
Oh yes, oh yeah, I totally forgot. Its ability is a kind of a joke. I totally forgot. Thank you, Draco. It's called Dungeon Crawler. Dungeon Crawler. Yeah, so it makes sense. So basically it crawls and it's a dungeon basically.
Any concept of what the ability does, or is just the name?
It's just a name. I thought like, this is kind of, this reminds me, Dungeons and Dragons, yeah. Dungeon Crawler. There you go.
Dungeon crawler.
Please. You know what we need? Like it's gonna have like some princess or damsel right at the top. The adventuring party gotta go inside this mega stack attacker, but you know it's like a constant like labyrinth inside because like it's just changing like the like its eye placements inside. And another thing I was thinking about for this thing was I want to see it and Garganacl get into a fight.
I got one for you. At the top of the tower, there's a Breloom and Jinx. Sorry, your princess is in another castle.
Put Saruman on top of the tower. There you go.
Like I've said before, Subarashii is an absolute wonder of an artist. I still don't know how he can come up with the concepts and pump all this out so incredibly fast. But I mean, the detail to not just develop a new Pokemon, but also keep it very parallel to some of the things that we're seeing in the modern scope, where a lot of Pokemon artists seem to settle somewhere along one of the more retro styles, maybe not all the way back to the watercolor original arts, but somewhere along the different generations.
So like X said, you are absolutely amazing and talented, and the fact that I brought this up to you, we came up with this concept about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And within like a day and a half, not even within a day, you had a sketch done, and then it had it fully colored and set out, and it never ceases to amaze anybody really how fast you are. And
yeah,
I actually showed this
a handful. Yeah, these are the handful. These are the OG Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Ultra Beast. Because I'm gonna do more in the future.
I like these. These came out really good.
Yeah, they did. They really came out amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
With that being said, brings our episode to a close. What are your thoughts about Suba's designs? Anything pique your interest? Anyone that you're looking forward to seeing from Suba? Let us know down below. Also, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Let us know how we're doing. And thank you, Suba, for joining us and sharing with us these amazing images that you've come up with. They're great.
It's a pleasure. The pleasure.
And as always, have a great day. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.